So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do waste management. The first thing you're going to do is click waste management. I will like to note that there's two steps with waste management here. The first thing is you are going to make a digital copy of the card that is already on a waste carboy. So for instance, all of our waste carboys should have a orange EHS tag on it, telling you what's in the carboy and its hazards. Um, so when you click create waste card here in Chematix, what you're doing is you're taking that orange tag that's already on your physical waste container and you're creating a digital copy. After you create all of these digital copies of your waste cards, you will submit a waste pickup sheet. And that's what this create waste pickup sheet is for. And that's basically a collection of all your waste cards telling EHS, hey, these are the cards or these are the containers that need to be picked up. So I'm first going to show you how to make a waste card. So there's three different options. The chemical mixture by percentage is exactly what it sounds like. It is for any kind of chemical waste that is a mixture of something. Usually we will use this selection for all of our like 5-gallon carboys or very large carboys. The pure chemicals and individual container option is really good for if you have a chemical container that unfortunately might have been contaminated, or if it's like very expired, no longer usable. This is basically a good option for, again, if any of our primary containers from the company are just ruined. If it's the same chemical but little ruined, that's what you would use this for. The miscellaneous waste materials is basically for everything else. We typically use it most often for waste spills, right? So when you pick up a waste spill, you are supposed to put all of the paper towels or all of the cleaners that you use. You're supposed to put it all into a plastic bag and label it with an EHS code, and then you will submit it as a waste container using this miscellaneous waste materials. So I'm going to show you how to do the mixture. The other two are pretty self-explanatory, and they're pretty much like a mixture. So I'm just going to show you how to do the chemical mixture. All right. So first thing is you want to make sure you're in the right lab location. NES 124 is fine. You want to make sure your container type is correct. For all of our waste carboys, they're polyethylene. But if you're, again, doing, let's say, a chemical container from, let's say, a company that's glass, you would want to select glass and make sure it's accurate. Container size, all of our large carboys are usually 5-gallon, so I'm gonna say that. Our 5-gallon carboys are liquid or aqueous waste. Aqueous organic, they're liquids. Container full, we usually put 90 unless it's different, but 90 is usually a good that's usually as how far full we want to go before we submit it. You never want your carboys to go all the way up to 100% because it's just not safe. You want like a space in your carboy. So here in this area is where you're actually going to put in what is in your carboy. So I'm just going to do some general stuff. Let's say we have aqueous waste. Aqueous is mostly water. So I'm going to put water here and then select chemical and then select the water. And then let's say there is sodium hydroxide is a very common waste we have in our aqueous hydroxide. Oh, I misspelled it. That's okay. Let's just do sodium hydro. Yep. Sometimes if you're not accurate, like if you're not specific, you will get like a lot of search results. So it is kind of worth it to be specific. And let's just also do hydrochloric acid. And select the first one is fine. We usually select the ones that are the most accurate yet the most basic, if that makes any sense. And obviously if it's spelled right. So let's just say that's good. That looks like a pretty accurate aqueous waste. Obviously I'm just making one up as an example. But you would really want to follow what's on that card. This has to mirror what the waste card on the carboy says. So now we're going to do percentages. Aqueous waste is typically very high in water, so I'm going to say 70 for this example. And then everything else has to pretty much add up to 100%, so we're just going to say 15 for this and 15 for that. And then select calculate. You want to make sure that it equals up to 100%, which it does. Again, you want this to reflect on the card as well, so make sure you write that down on the card. The next thing you want to do is select hazards. HCl is corrosive, and we're going to say it's toxic as well. Again, this all needs to be reflected on the card. Then you're going to select generate waste card. And if you see up here, you get this waste card number right here. This is super important. This needs to be written on the card. On the top right hand of the card, you should have an indication of where to write it. And you don't have to write the entire thing. I typically write from the, I pretty much omit the USFW, and that's totally fine. So pretty much you would want to write this on that waste card. All right, I'm gonna select finish. Now that I made my waste card, let's say that's the only one in my location. Now I want to actually submit it to pickup. It's a good thing to know that just because we made a waste card doesn't mean that it's going to get picked up, because all you did is just made a digital copy of the card. You didn't actually submit it for pickup. So now we're going to select create waste pickup worksheet, and this is what you do to actually say, hey, I want this waste to be picked up. So we have to go to that location that we made the waste for. Make sure you always put in your phone number. You don't have to select anything else. Instructions are really good in case you have any kind of weird thing that's happening. For instance, if the waste carboy has something broken on top of it, or if anything's out of the ordinary with this waste, definitely make sure you put it in instructions just to help out the EHS people. Now you're going to select your waste containers that are in that location, and as you can see, this is a waste container that we just created. And then you're just going to select add selections to worksheet. It did not let me because I didn't add a phone number. That's okay. Okay, so it is added. So once it's added to your worksheet, you just hit submit for waste pickup, and that's pretty much it. Your waste will be eventually picked up. They're pretty fast. Usually they would come within, I would say, 3 to 5 days usually. Sometimes